As global leaders gather for the 2025 World Economic Forum. Well, I guess we will move away from that now. Nigeria's membership in the BRICS bloc could bring numerous economic benefits. As Africa's largest economy, Nigeria's participation could increase its global influence and provide opportunities for economic growth. However, Nigeria's membership in BRICS is not without challenges. The country needs to address its economic weaknesses such as corruption, insecurity, and infrastructure deficits to fully benefit from its membership. Well, joining me for more on this, I have Baba Yusuf, the CEO of Global Investment and Trade Company. Thank you so much for joining me today, Mr. Yusuf.
Thank you for having me, Perpetua.
All right, so talk to us. What does a Nigerian membership represent and what economic benefits are inherent here?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to that Nigeria has finally joined, even though as partner, which is one layer before the active membership. At least it's a step in the right direction. The fact that we have had that, I have written about it for several years. Last year alone, I did 2 position papers on this, so everybody knows I'm a proponent of the BRICS. And why so? Because we need to de-risk our economy, Perpetua. We're a sovereign nation, like many nations, and the threat of the likes of America under Trump and others requires that we de-risk our economy and have alternative, economic solutions and platform and allies. And why so, like you asked? Let me just dimension some of the, benefits or the importance of BRICS for those that don't know. The BRICS is supposed to be a geopolitical rival to the G7. Interestingly, within the G7, China and Russia is a member of the G7. Now, the founding countries of the BRICS also, Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa, are also members of the G20. Now, these are 2 major economic power blocks, or if you like, associations that were on the front burner before the emergence of BRICS. Now, taking it further for Nigeria, as we stand today, the membership of the BRICS has grown in the last, 10 to 15 years to over 40. Now accounting for about 50%, membership of the BRICS, there are countries, oil-producing countries within the BRICS that currently produce about 50% of the global crude oil production, right? And then the total nominal GDP of the membership of BRICS is about $28 trillion, which accounts for about 25% of the gross world product. Indeed, the combined population of the BRICS membership as of today is about 3.5 billion people, accounting for about 45% of the world population, right? Now, if we even stop there, you can now see and start dimensioning the increasing popularity and relevance of BRICS, whether it is from the point of view of economic positioning or geopolitics, in terms of oil production, in terms of the wealth that these countries hold as it is today, and indeed to provide an alternative platform, to the US dollar or to the dominance of, the G7, which is, we say China and Russia is there, but we know it is America that is driving that conversation. With the emergence of Donald Trump and his tariffs narrative, it is clear that countries will have more membership in the BRICS because sovereign nations will not decide to become subservient, to America under Trump or anybody for that matter. And therefore, the progression for getting an alternative to the US dollar has just been more catalyzed by the narrative of Donald Trump and by the global reality. Further down the line, I can give more insight into that.
Well, talking about this, that's when we look at what Trump presidency presents and what's happening right now. Do you think the BRICS can actually successfully do this without having maybe some form of a currency, maybe solving the currency issue? Let's begin with that.
Well, first of all, this is a paradigm shift, Perpetual. You don't just snap your finger and everything changes. The petrodollar concept, came about, in the 70s, but before then, this issue of the dominance of the US dollar as a single global currency goes back after the conclusion of the World War II, and more so during the 70s, during the oil boom. When we have to move further. Why so? Because the platform has to be provided to neutralize this. And you talk about capabilities and capacities. As we are today, the BRICS have been able to start building infrastructure and systems to see how they can counter that. And I can, highlight some of these initiatives by BRICS. There's already the New Development Bank. There's already the BRICS Currency Reserve Arrangement. There's already the BRICS Pay, which is supposed to compete with the SWIFT US dollar SWIFT window. And then we have the BRICS Joint Statistical, publication, and of course the BRICS Basket Reserve Currency. Before then, already, China is already providing that currency swap for which Nigeria has been, they have offered Nigeria $2 billion swap recently, for which some of us are saying even fantastic. China should even increase it to $5 billion, more so now that we are hearing the rhetoric from President Donald Trump. So Nigeria stands alone to gain in terms of alternative, political and economic platform for us not to put all our eggs in one basket. More importantly, because many people forget that Nigeria belongs to the non-aligned nations, which means we belong to a group of countries like India and others that say we are not going to just, tailor our foreign policy wholesomely to a particular country around the world. We are independent, we are sovereign. We'll sit down and look at where things will favor our people, our continent, and stay there without disrupting the entire alliance network. And as it is today, most likely that is why Nigeria is standing on the door of BRICS as a partner, member, before we finally go in as full members. We have that right as a sovereign nation. And like I said, given our current socio-economic reality with the debt profile that we need to pay out and all that, it is time for us to have alliances that will give us succor and shock absorbers in managing our economic recovery and growth going forward.
But that's quite interesting. That sort of speaks to, the economy, the economic importance. But some have also said this is a step towards amplifying Africa's voice in global affairs, actually. Now, talk to us about how, Nigeria being a partner and maybe subsequently a member would help do this.
Oh, absolutely. Already South Africa took the lead. We have heard countries like Rwanda, countries like Uganda, Egypt, a lot of countries are joining in droves. Africa is speaking loudly to say, look, we are independent, we can make our decisions, and we will not be bullied by anybody as regards to how we drive our, political and economic strategy. So yes, and like I said, because of that alternative platform it presents and the platform of negotiation it presents, let me read for you one of the objectives which resonates with me. And here it says, strategic partnership and cooperation for investment opportunities, coordinating multilateral policies based on the principle of non-interference, equality, and mutual benefits. And that is what Africa wants. We want to transmute from this beggarly, subservient position in the global scheme of things to people that can assert themselves and people that have a freedom of choice and people that can leverage their strength. What is our strength? Our natural resources and our human capital development. In the next 5 to 10 years, Africa will become more of the go-to place for the entire world, whether it is for solid minerals or for human capital. So therefore, it is time for us to build the foundations and the pillars of success in positioning ourselves. Of course, there's need more to be done in terms of getting rid of corruption, in terms of getting our priority rights. Just being a member of BRICS, a member of this, a member of World Trade Organization, without dealing with the fundamentals is not good enough. But I will say we are moving in the right direction, and the message is loud and clear. Sanctions or tariffs from President Trump, I think, will not deter anybody. Just 2 weeks ago, during the rhetoric of Trump, I think Indonesia, one other country, not just Indonesia, joining the BRICS. So that speaks volume to the independent of mindedness, and the message is clear. Countries want to maintain their sovereignty. Countries want to demonstrate that the future is here. 50 years ago, nobody heard about AI. 50 years ago, nobody was talking about computer driving, digital technology. We are here today. So the change has come, and I believe that BRICS has come to stay, and it will provide that enabling alternative to the US dollar and to other, global provisions that have almost shackled us in the world.
Right, thank you so much. I was going to ask you a question, but I guess you already answered. You're talking about, being in all of these organizations will not change anything if we do not address structural domestic issues. Thank you so much, Baba Yusuf, for sharing your thoughts with us today.